Let fame that all hunt after in their lives live registered upon our brazen tombs, and then grace us with the disgrace of death and make us heirs of all eternity. Therefore, brave conquerors, for so you are that war against your own affections and the huge army of the world's desires, our late edict shall strictly stand in force. Navarre shall be the wonder of the world. Our court shall be a little academe, still and contemplative in living art. You three, Baronne, Dumaine, and Longaville, have sworn for 3 years' term to live with me, my fellow scholars, and to keep these statutes that are recorded on this schedule here. Your oaths are passed, and now subscribe your names, that his own hand may strike his honor down that violates the smallest branch herein.
I'm resolved. This is but a 3 years fast. The mind shall banquet, though the body pine.
My loving lord, Domain is mortified. The grosser manner of these world's delights he throws upon the gross world's baser slaves.
I can but say their protestation over. So much, dear liege, I have already sworn, that is, to live and study here 3 years. But there are other strict observances, as not to see a woman in that term, the which I hope well is not enrolled there. And 1 day in a week to touch no food, the which I hope is not enrolled there. And then to sleep but 3 hours in the night, which I hope well is not enrolled there. Oh, these are barren tasks, too hard to keep. Not to see ladies, study, fast, not sleep.
Your oath has passed to pass away from these.
Let me say no, my liege, and if you please, I only swore to study with your grace and stay here in your court for 3 years' space.
That you swore to that, Baronne, and to the rest.
By yea and nay, sir, then I swore in jest. What is the end of study? Let me know.
Why, that to know which else we should not know.
Things hidden barred, you mean, from common sense?
Aye, that is study's godlike recompense.
Come on then, I will swear to study so. To know the thing I am forbid to know, as thus, to study where I well may dine, when I to feast expressly am forbid. Or study where to meet some mistress fine, when mistresses from common sense are hid. Or, having sworn too hard a keeping oath, study to break it, and not break my troth. If study's gain be thus, and this be so, study knows that which yet it doth not know. Swear me to this, and I will ne'er say no.
These be the stops that hinder study quite, and train our intellects to vain delight.
Why, all delights are vain, but that most vain, which with pain purchased doth inherit pain. As painfully to pore upon a book to seek the light of truth, while truth the while doth falsely blind the eyesight of his look. Light seeking light doth light of light beguile.
Oh, how well he's read to reason against reading.
Oh, proceeded well to stop all good proceeding.
He weeds the corn and still lets grow the weeding.
The spring is near when green geese are breeding.
How follows that?
Fit in his time and place.
In reason, nothing.
Something then in rhyme.
Well, sit you out then. Go home, Baronne. Adieu.
No, my good lord, I have sworn to stay with you. And though I have for barbarism spoke, more than for that angel knowledge you can say, yet confident I'll keep what I have sworn, and bide the penance of each 3 years' day. Give me the paper, let me read the same. And to the strictest decrees I'll write my name.
How well this yielding rescues thee from shame.
Item, that no woman shall come within a mile of the court. Hath this been proclaimed?
Yes, 4 days ago.
Let me see the penalty. On losing her tongue. Who devised this penalty?
Mary, that did I.
Sweet lord, and why?
Well, to fright them hence with that dread penalty.
A dangerous law against gentility. Item, if any man be seen to talk with a woman within the term of 3 years, he shall endure such public shame as the rest of the court shall possibly devise. This article, my liege, yourself must break. For well you know, here comes in embassy the French king's daughter with yourself to speak about surrender up of Aquitaine. Therefore this article is made in vain, or vainly comes the admired princess hither.
What say you, lords? But this was quite forgot.
Study evermore is overshot.
We must of force dispense with this decree. She must lie here on mere necessity.
Necessity will make us all forsworn 3,000 times within this 3-year space. If I break faith, this word shall break for me. I am forsworn on mere necessity. So, to the laws at large I write my name, and he that breaks it in the least degree stands in attainder of eternal shame. But is there no quick recreation granted?
Oh, aye, that there is. Our court, you know, is haunted with a refined traveler of Spain, a man in all the world's new fashion planted. He hath a mint of phrases in his brain, this child of fancy, this armado wight. For interim to our studies shall relate in high-born words the worth of many a night from antique tales lost to the world's debate. Now, how you delight, my lords, no, not I, but I protest I love to hear him lie.
Armando is a most illustrious wight, a man of fire, new words, fashion's own knight.
Which is the Duke's own person?
This fellow, what wouldst?
Senor, commends you. There's villainy abroad. This letter will tell you more.
Sir, the contempts thereof are as touching me.
Oh, a letter from the magnificent Armado.
How low soever the matter, I hope in God for high words.
Ooh, a high hope for a low heaven. God grant us patience.
The matter is to me, sir, as concerning Jaquanetta. The manner of it is, well, I was taken with the manor.
In what manner?
I was seen with her in the manor house.
Will you hear this letter with attention?
As we would hear an oracle.
Great deputy, the Welkins vicegerent and sole dominator of Navarre.
No word of Costard yet?
So it is besieged with sable-colored melancholy. I did commend the black oppressing humor to the most wholesome physic of thy health-giving air. And as I am a gentleman, betook myself to walk, the time when, about the 6th hour, when beasts most graze, birds best peck, and men set down to that nourishment which is called supper. So much for the time when. Now for the ground which I walked upon. Thy park. Then for the place where, I did encounter that obscene and most preposterous event that draweth from my snow-white pen the ebon-colored ink which here thou viewest, beholdest, surveyest, or seest. But to the place where? It standeth north, northeast, and by east from the west corner of thy curious knotted garden. There did I see thy low-spirited swain, that base minnow of thy mirth.
Me?
That unlettered, small-knowing soul.
Me?
That shallow vassal.
Still me.
Which, as I remember, hight Costard.
Oh, me.
Sorted and consorted with, contrary to the established proclaimed edict and continent, which with this passion I to say, with
a wench.
With a child of our grandmother Eve, a female, or for thy most sweet understanding, a woman. Him I have sent to thee to receive the meed of punishment by thy sweet grace's officer Anthony Dull, a man of good repute, carriage, bearing, and estimation.
Me and shall please you. Yeah, I'm Anthony Dull.
For Jaquanetta, which I apprehended with the aforesaid swain, I keep her as a vessel of thy love's fury, and shall, at the least of thy sweet notice, bring her to trial. Thine in all compliments of devoted and heart-burning heat of duty, Don Adriano de Armado! Ho! Sir, what did say to this?
Sir, I confess the wench.
Did you hear the proclamation?
I do confess much of the hearing it, but little of the marking of it.
Well, it was proclaimed a year's imprisonment to be taken with a wench.
I was taken with none, sir. I was taken with a damsel.
Well, it was proclaimed damsel.
This was no demoiselle, neither, sir. She was a virgin.
It is so varied so too, for it was proclaimed virgin.
If it were, I deny her virginity. I was taken with a maid.
This maid will not serve your turn, sir.
The maid will serve my turn, sir.
Sir, it's not I will pronounce your sentence. You shall fast for a week with bran and water.
I would rather pray a month with mutton and porridge.
And Don Armado shall be your keeper. My Lord Barone, see him delivered o'er, and go we, lords, to put in practice that which each to other have so strongly sworn.
I'll lay my head to any good man's hat. These oaths and laws will prove an idle scorn. Sirrah, come on.
Boy, what sign is when a man of great spirit grows melancholy?
A great sign, sir, that he will look sad.
Why? Sadness is one and the self-same thing, dear imp.
No, O Lord, sir, no.
How canst thou part sadness and melancholy, my tender juvenile?
By a familiar demonstration of the working, my tough signor.
Why tough, seigneur? Why tough, seigneur?
Why tender juvenile? Why tender juvenile?
I spoke it tender juvenile as a congruent epitheton appertaining to thy young days, which we may nominate tender.
And I, tough signor, as an appurtenant title to your old time, which we may name tough.
Pretty and apt. I will hereupon confess I am in love, and as it is base for a soldier to love, so am I in love with a base wench. Comfort me, boy. What great men have been in love?
Samson, master, he was a man of good carriage, great carriage, for he carried the town gates on his back, and he was in love.
Oh, well-knit Samson, strong-jointed Samson. I too excel thee in my rapier as much as thou didst me carrying gates. I am in love too. Who was Samson's love, my dear Muff?
A woman, master.
Of what complexion?
Oh, the sea-water green, sir.
Green indeed is the color of lovers. But to have a love of that color, methinks Samson had a small reason for it. He surely affected her for her wit.
It was so, sir, for she had a green wit.
I will have that subject newly read o'er, that I may example my digression by some mighty precedent. Boy, I do love that country girl that I took in the park with the rational hind custard. Sing, boy, my spirit grows heavy in love. I say sing!
Forbear till this company be past.
Sir, the Duke's pleasure is that you keep Custard safe, and you must let him take no delight nor no penance, but he must fast 3 days a week for this damsel. I must keep her at the park. She is allowed for the day, woman. Fare you well.
I do betray myself with blushing. Maid,
Man,
I will visit thee at the lodge.
that's hereby.
I know where it is, seek to wait.
Lord, how wise you are.
I will tell thee wonders.
With what face?
I love thee,
So I have heard you say.
and so farewell.
Fair weather after you.
Come, Jacanetta, away.
Villain, thou shalt fast for thy offenses ere thou be pardoned.
Well, sir, I hope when I do it, I shall do it on a full stomach.
Thou shalt be heavily punished.
I am more bound to you than your fellows, for they are but lightly rewarded.
Take away this villain. Shut him up.
Let me not be pent up, sir. I will fast being loose.
No, sir, that were fast and loose. Thou shalt to prison.
I do affect the very ground which is base, where her shoe, which is baser, guided by her foot, which is basest, doth tread. I shall be forsworn, which is great argument of falsehood, if I love. And how can that be true love, which is falsely attempted? Love is a familiar, love is a devil. There is no evil angel, but love. Cupid's butt shaft is too hard for Hercules' club, and therefore too much odds for Spaniard's rapier. The pasado he respects not, the duello he regards not. His disgrace is to be called boy, but his glory is to subdue men. Adieu, valor, rust rapier, be still drum, for the manager is in love. Yea, he loveth. Assist me, some extemporal god of rhyme, for I am sure I shall turn sonnet. Device, wit, write, pen, for I am for whole volumes in folio.
Now, madam, summon up your dearest spirits. Consider who the king your father sends, yourself. Held precious in the world's esteem, be now as prodigal of all dear grace, as nature was in making graces dear, when he did starve the general world besides, and prodigally gave them all to you.
Good Lord Boyette, my beauty, though but mean, needs not the painted flourish of your praise. I am less proud to hear you tell my worth than you much willing to be counted wise in spending your wit in the praise of me. But now, to task the tasker. Good Boyette, you are not ignorant. All telling fame doth noise abroad. Navarre hath made a vow, no women may approach his silent court. Therefore, to seemeth it a needful court before we enter his forbidden gates to know his pleasure, and in that behalf, bold of your worthiness, we single you. Tell him, the daughter of the King of France, on serious business craving quick dispatch, importunes personal conference with his grace.
Proud of employment, willingly I go.
All pride is willing pride, and yours is so. Who are the votaries, my loving ladies, that are vow fellows with this virtuous duke?
Longueville is one.
Oh, know you the man?
I know him, madam. At a marriage feast in Normandy saw I this Longueville. A man of sovereign parts he is esteemed, well fitted in arts, glorious in arms. The only soil of his fair virtue's gloss is a sharp wit matched with too blunt a will, whose edge shall hath power to cut, whose will still wills it should none spare that come within his power.
Some merry mocking lord, belike is so.
They say so most that most his humors know.
Such short-lived wits do wither as they grow. Who are the rest?
The young Dumaine, a well-accomplished youth of all that virtue loved, for he hath the wit to make an ill shape good, and shape to win grace, though she had no wit. I saw him at the Duke Alençon's once.
Another of these students at that time was there with him, as I have heard a truth. Barone they call him, but a merrier man, within the limit of becoming mirth. I never spent an hour's talk withal. His eye begets occasion for his wit. For every object that one doth catch, the other turns a mirth-moving jest, which his fair tongue, conceit, expositor, delivers in such apt and gracious words, the aged ears play truant at his tales, younger hearings are quite ravished.
Oh, God bless my ladies, are they all in love? That every one her own hath garnished with such bedecking ornaments of praise.
Here comes Boyette.
Oh, now, what admittance, lord?
Navarre had notice of your fair approach, and he and his competitors in oath were all addressed to meet you, gentle lady, before I came. Marry, thus much have I learnt. He rather means to lodge you in the field, like one that comes to besiege his court, than seek a dispensation for his oath to let you enter his unpeopled house. Here comes Navarre.
Fair princess, welcome to the court of Navarre.
Fair I give you back again, and welcome have I not. The roof of this court is too high to be yours, and welcome to the wide fields, too base to be mine.
You shall be welcome, madam, to my court.
I will be welcome, then conduct me thither.
Hear me, dear lady. I have sworn an oath.
Our Lady help my lord, he'll be forsworn.
No, not for the world, fair madam, by my will.
Why, will shall break it will, and nothing else.
Your ladyship is ignorant of what it is.
Were my lord so, his ignorance were wise, where now his knowledge must prove ignorance. I hear your grace hath sworn out housekeeping. 'Tis deadly sin to keep that oath, my lord, and sin to break it. But, pardon me, I am too sudden bold to teach a teacher, ill beseemeth me. Vouchsafe to read the purpose of my coming, and suddenly resolve me in my suit.
Did I not dance with you at Brabant once?
Did I not dance with you in Brabant once?
I know you did.
How needless was it then to ask the question?
Oh, you must not be so quick.
'Tis long of you that spur me with such questions.
Your wit's too hot. It speeds too fast, 'twill tire.
Not till I leave the rider in the mire.
Oh, madam, your father here doth intimate the payment of 100,000 crowns, being but the half of an entire sum dispersed by my father in his wars. But say that he or we, as neither have, received that sum, yet there would remain unpaid 100,000 more, in surety of the which one part of Aquitaine is bound to us, although not valued to the money's worth. If then the king your father will restore but that one half which is unsatisfied, we will give up our right to Aquitaine and hold fair friendship with his majesty. But that it seems he little purposeth, for here he doth demand to have repaid that 100,000 crowns and Aquitaine. Dear princess, were not his requests so far from reason's yielding, your fair self should make a yielding against some reason in my breast, and go satisfied to France again.
Do the king my father too much wrong, and wrong the reputation of your name, in so unseeming to confess receipt of that which hath so faithfully been paid?
I do protest, I never heard of it. And if you prove it, I'll repay it back or yield up Aquitaine.
We arrest your word. Boyat, you can produce acquittances for such a sum from special officers of Charles his father.
Great, satisfy me so.
So please your grace, the packet is not come. Where that and other specialties are bound, tomorrow you shall have a sight of them.
It shall suffice me. At which interview, all liberal reason will I yield unto. But meantime, receive such welcome at my hand as honor, without breach of honor, may make tender to thy true worthiness. You may not come, fair princess, in my gates, but here without you shall be so received as you shall deem yourself well lodged in my heart, though so denied fair harbor in my house. Your own good thoughts, excuse me, and farewell. Tomorrow shall we visit you again.
Sweet health and fair desires consort your grace.
Thy own wish I thee in every place.
Lady, I will commend you to my own heart.
Pray you, do my commendations. I would be glad to see it.
And would you heard it groan?
Is the fool sick?
Sick at the heart.
Alack, let it blood.
Would that do it good?
My physic says aye.
Will you prick it with your eye?
No, point with my knife.
Now, God save thy life.
Wait. I pray you a word. What is that lady's name?
The heir of Alençon, Catherine, her name.
Oh, gallant lady. Monsieur, fare you well.
I beseech you a word. What is she in the white?
A woman, sometimes, and you saw her in the light.
Perchance light in the light. I desire her name.
She hath but one for herself. To desire that were a shame.
Pray you, sir, whose daughter?
Her mother's, I have heard. She is the heir of Falconbridge.
She is a most sweet lady.
Not unlike sir, that may be.
What's her name in the cap?
Rosaline, by good hap.
Is she wedded or no?
To her will, sir, or so.
You are welcome, sir, adieu.
Farewell to me, sir, and welcome to you.
That last is Barone, the merry madcap lord. Not a word with him, but a jest.
And every jest but a word.
It was well done of you to take him at a word.
I was as willing to grapple as he was to board.
Oh, too hot sheep, Mary. And wherefore not ships?
No sheep, sweet lamb, unless we feed on your lips.
Oh, you sheep. Meh. And I pasture. Shall that finish the jest?
So you grant pasture for me.
Oh, not so, gentle beast. My lips are no common, though several they be.
Belonging to whom?
To my fortunes and me.
Good wits be jangling, but gentles agree. This civil war of wits were much better used on Navarre as bookmen, for here 'tis abused.
If my observation, which very seldom lies, by the heart's still rhetoric disclosed with eyes deceive me not now, Navarre is infected.
With what?
With that which we lovers entitle affected.
Your reason?
Well, why all his behaviours did make their retire to the court of his eye, peeping thorough desire. His tongue, all impatient to speak and not see, did to stumble in haste at his eyesight to be. All senses to that sense did make their repair, to feel only looking on fairest of fair. I'll give you Aquitaine and all that is his, and you give him for my sake but one loving kiss.
Come to our pavilion, Boyette is disposed.
Oh, but to speak but in words which his eye hath disclosed.
An old love monger, and speak skillfully.
Oh, he is Cupid's grandfather, and learns news of him.
Do you hear, my mad wenches?
No!
What then, do you see?
Aye, our way to be gone.
Ugh, too hard for me.
Warble, child, make passionate my sense of hearing. Oh, sweet air, go, tenderness of years. Take this key, give enlargement to the swain, bring him festinately hither. I must employ him a letter to my love.
A message well sympathized, a horse to be an ambassador to an ass.
What sayest thou?
Marry, sir, you must send the ass upon the horse, for he is very slow-gated. But I go.
The way is but short. Away.
As swift as lead, sir.
The meaning pretty ingenious? Is not lead a metal heavy, dull, and slow?
You are too swift, sir, to say so. Is that lead slow, which is fired from a gun?
Sweet smoke of rhetoric. He reputes me a cannon, and the bullet that see, I shoot thee at the swain. A most acute juvenile, voluble and free of grace. By thy favor, sweet walking, I must sigh in thy face. Most rude melancholy, a valor gives thee place. Oh, my herald has returned. Sirrah, custard, I will enfranchise thee. I give thee thy liberty, set thee from durance, and in lieu thereof, impose on thee nothing but this. Bear this significant to the country maid, Jacquinetta, as there is remuneration for the best word of mine honor in rewarding my dependence. Moth, follow.
Oh, now I will look to this remuneration. Remuneration. Oh, that's the Latin word for 3 farthings. 3 farthings, remuneration. What's the price of this, uncle? I don't know. I'll give you a remuneration.
My good Ned Costard, exceedingly well met.
Brave, sir. How much carnation ribbon may a man buy for remuneration?
What is remuneration?
Marry, sir, halfpenny farthing.
Why then, 3 farthing worth of silk. As thou wilt win my favour, good my knave, do one thing for me that I shall entreat.
When would you have it done, sir?
This afternoon.
Well, I will do it, sir. Fare you well.
Oh, no, it's not what it is.
I shall know, sir, when I have done it.
Why, villain, thou must know first.
I will come to your worship tomorrow morning.
It must be done this afternoon. Hark, slave, it is but this. The princess comes to hunt here in the park, and in her train there is a gentle lady. When tongues speak sweetly, they name her name, and Rosaline they call her. Ask for her, and to her white hand, see thou do commend this sealed up counsel. There's thy guerdon. Go.
Guardon? Oh, sweet guardon. Better than remuneration. Most Sweet Gardon. I will do it, sir, in print. Gardon, remuneration.
Oh, and I forsooth in love. I that have been love's whip, a very beadle to a humorous sire, critique, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant all the boy. Then whom so mortal and so magnificent, this wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this soon senior, junior, giant dwarf, Don Cupid, regent of love rhymes, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, sole imperator and great general of trotting parroters. Oh, my little heart! What? I love, I sue, I seek a wife, a woman that is like a German clock, still a repairing, ever out of frame and never going aright, being a watch, but being watched that it may still go right. Nay, to be perjured, which is worst of all, and among three to love the worst of all, a whitely wanton with a velvet brow, with two pitch balls stuck in her face for eyes, and I, and by heaven, one that will do the deed, though Argus were her eunuch and her guard, and I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her, go to. It is a plague that Cupid will impose for my neglect of his almighty dreadful little might. Well, I will love, write, sigh, sue, groan. Some men must love my lady, and some Joan.
Was that the king that spurred his horse so hard against the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Whoever it was showed a mounting mind. Well, lords, today we shall have our dispatch. On Saturday, we will return to France. But come, the bow. Now, Mercury goes to kill, and shooting well is then accounted ill. Thus will I save my credit in the shoot, not wounding. Pity would not let me do it. If wounding, then it was to show my skill, that more for praise than purpose meant to kill. And out of question, so it is sometimes, glory grows guilty of detested crimes, when for fame's sake, for praise and outward part, we bend to that, the working of the heart. Is I for praise alone now seek to spill the poor dear's blood, that my heart means no ill.
God dig you den all. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Thou shalt know her, fellow, by the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady, the highest?
The thickest and the tallest.
The thickest and the tallest. It is so. Truth is truth. And your waist, mistress, were as slender as my wit. One of these maids' girdles for your waist should be fit. Or not you, the chief woman? You are the thickest here.
What's your will? What's your will?
Well, I have a letter from Monsieur Baron to one Lady Rosaline.
He is a good friend of mine. Stand aside, good bearer. Boyette, you can break up this cabin.
I am bound to serve. Oh, no, this letter is mistook. It importeth none here. It's writ to Jacquinetta.
We will read it, I swear. Break the neck of the wax and everyone give ear.
By heaven, that thou art fair is most infallible. True that thou art beauteous, truth itself that thou art lovely. More fairer than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself. The magnanimous and most illustrate King Cophetua set eye upon the pernicious and indubitate beggar Xenelephon. And he that it was that might rightly say veni vidi vici, which to anathenize in the vulgar, he came, see, and overcame. He came one, see, two, overcame three. Who came? The king. Why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. To whom came he? To the beggar. What sought he? The beggar. Who overcame he? The beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king's. No, on both in one, or one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou the beggar, for so witnesseth thy lowliness. What shalt thou exchange for rags, robes, for titles, for thyself, me? Thus, expecting thy reply, I profane my lips on thy foot, my eyes on thy picture, and my heart on thy... every part, thine in the dearest design of industry, Don Adriano de Armando.
What plume of feathers is he that indited this letter? What vein? What weathercock? Did you ever hear better?
This Armado is a Spaniard that keeps here in court, a phantasm, a monarcho, and one that makes sport to the prince and his bookmates.
Fellow, a word. Who gave thee this letter?
I told you, my lord.
To whom shouldst thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
From my lord Baron, a good master of mine, to a lady of France that he called Rosaline.
Who's the suitor? Who's the suitor?
Shall I teach you to know?
I, my continent of beauty.
Well, then, I am the shooter.
And who is your dear?
If we choose by the horns, yourself come not near.
You still wrangle with her, Boyette, and she strikes at the brow.
Oh, but she herself is hit lower. Have I hit her now?
Thou canst not hit it, hit it, hit it. Thou canst not hit it, my good man.
And I cannot, and I cannot, another can.
She's too hard for you at bricks. Sir, challenge her to bowl. Boy, I fear too much ripping. Good night, my good owl.
The deer was, as you know, sanguis in blood, ripe as the palm of water, who now hangeth like a jewel in the ear of Cello, the sky, the welkin, the heaven, and anon fallen like a crab on the face of Terra, the soil, the land, the earth.
Truly, Master Holofernes, the epithets are sweetly varied. I assure thee it was a buck of the first head.
Sir Nathaniel Howd Credo.
It was not a Howd Credo, it was a pricket.
Most barbarous intimation, a kind of insinuation, as it were, in way of explication, facere, as it were, replication, or rather ostentare, to show, as it were, his inclination after his undressed, unpolished, uneducated, unpruned, untrained, or rather unlettered, or ratherest unconfirmed fashion, to insert again my Howd Credo for deer.
Yeah, I said the deer was not a Howd Credo, it was a pricket.
Oh, thou monster ignorance, how deformed dost thou look.
Sir, he hath never fed of the dainties that are bred in a book. He hath not eat paper, as it were. He hath not drunk ink. His intellect is not replenished. He's only an animal, only sensible in the duller parts.
You two are bookmen. Can you tell me by your wit what was a month old at Cain's birth that's not 5 weeks old as yet?
Dictina, good man doll. Dictina, good man doll.
What is dictina?
A tittle to Phoebe, to Luna, to the moon.
The moon was a month old when Adam was no more, and wrought not to 5 weeks when he came to 5 score.
Oh, yeah.
The illusion holds in the exchange.
This is true. It's true indeed. The collusion holds in the exchange.
God comfort thy capacity. I say the illusion holds in the exchange.
And I say the pollution holds in the exchange. For the moon is never but a month old. And I say besides that, 'twas a pricket that the princess killed.
Sir Nathaniel, will you hear an extemporal epitaph on the death of the deer, and to humor the ignorant, I call the deer, the princess killed a pricket.
No, perge, good furnace, perge, so it shall please you to abrogate scurrility.
I will something affect a letter, for it argues facility. The playful princess pierced and pricked a pretty pleasing pricket. Some say a sore, but not a sore, till now made sore with shooting. The dogs did yell, put L to sore, then sorrel jumps from thicket. Or pricket sore, or else sorrel, the people fall a-hooting. Of one sore eye 100 make by adding but one more L.
Rare talent.
'Tis a gift I have. It's simple. A foolish, extravagant spirit full of forms, figures, shapes, objects, ideas, apprehensions, emotions, revolutions. These are begot in the ventricle of memory. But the gift is good in those in whom it is acute, and I am thankful for it.
Sir, I praise the Lord for you.
God give you good morrow, Master Parson.
Master Parson, quasi-person.
Good Master Parson, be so good as read me this letter. It was given me by Costard and sent me from Don Armado.
Fauste
beseech you.
precor, gelida quando peccus omne sub umbra ruminat. And so forth. Under pardon, sir, what are the contents, or rather, as Horace says in his What My Soul verses?
Ah, sir, very learned.
Let me hear a staff, a stanza, a verse, a legge domine.
If love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Ah, never faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee all faithful proud. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Celestial as thou art, oh, pardon, love, this wrong that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly song.
You find not the apostrophes, and so miss the accent. But, Demoiselle, a virgin, was this directed to you?
Aye, sir, from one Monsieur Baron, one of the strange Queen's lords.
I will overglance the superscript. To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous Lady Rosaline. Sir Nathaniel, this Baroon is one of the votaries with the king, and here he hath framed a letter to a secret of the stranger queens, which accidentally or by way of progression hath miscarried. Trip and go, my sweet. Deliver this paper into the royal hand of the king. It may concern much. Stay not thy compliment. I forgive thy duty. Adieu.
Good Costard, go with me. Sir, God save your life.
Have with thee, my girl.
I do dine today at the father's of a certain pupil of mine, where if before repast it shall please you to gratify the table with the grace, I will, on my privilege I have with the parents of the so aforesaid child, our pupil, undertake your benvenuto.
And thank you too, for society saith the text, the happiness of life.
And certes, the text most infallibly concludes it. Sir, I do invite you to, you shall not say me nay, pauca verba. Away, the gentles are at their game, and we will to our recreation.
The king is hunting the deer, I am coursing myself. By the Lord, this love is as mad as Ajax. It kills sheep, it kills me. I a sheep. Well proved again on my side. I will not love. If I do, hang me. If faith, I will not. Oh, but her eye, by this light, but for her eye, I would not love her. Yes, for her 2 eyes. Well, I do nothing in the world but lie and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love. And it hath taught me to rhyme and be melancholy, and here is part of my rhyme, and here my melancholy. Oh, here comes one with a paper. God give him grace to groan.
Why me?
Shut, by heaven. Proceed, sweet Cupid, in faith, secrets.
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not to those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams, when their fresh rays have smote the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows. Nor shines the silver moon, one half so bright, through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face, through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep. No drop, but as a coach doth carry thee, so ridest thou triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself. Then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses and still make me weep. Oh, queen of queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. Oh, how shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet leaves shade my folly. Oh, who is it comes here? What? Longaville? And reading? Listen, ear.
Oh, I'm forsworn.
In love, I hope, sweet fellowship and shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. O sweet Maria, Empress of my Louvre. Oh, these numbers will I tear and write in prose.
Oh, rhymes are guards on wanton Cupid's hose. Disfigure not this slop.
Oh, the same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, against whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove, thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, though a heavenly Louvre. Thy grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapor is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth doesn't shine, exhalest this vapor vow in thee. It is if broken, then it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise to loose an oath to win a paradise?
This is pure idolatry, which makes flesh a deity.
By whom shall I send this? Oh, company, stay!
All hid, an old infant play. More sacks to the mill. Oh, heavens, I have my wish. Domain transformed, 4 woodcocks in a dish.
Oh, most divine Kate!
Oh, most profane coxcomb.
Oh, by heaven, the wonder in mortal eye.
By earth she is not, corporal, there you lie.
Oh, that I had my wish.
And I had mine.
And I mine too, good Lord.
Amen, so I had mine. Is not that a good word?
I would forget her, but a fever she reigns in my blood and will remembered be. Once more, I'll read the ode I have writ.
Once more, I'll mark how love can vary wit.
On a day, alack, the day, love, whose month is every May, spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. Oh, through the velvet leaves, the wind, all unseen, can passage find that love, sick to death, wish himself the heaven's breath. Ere, quoth he, thy cheeks may blow, ere would I my triumph sow. But alack, my hand is sorn, ne'er to pluck thee from thy thorn. Thou, alack, for youth, unmeet youth, so apt to pluck a sweet. Do not call it sin in me that I am forsworn for thee. This will I send, and something more plain. That shall express my love's true fasting pain. Oh, were I the king, Barone and Longaville were lovers too. Ill to example, ill would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend where all do alike do dote.
Dumaine, thy love is far from charity. You may look pale, but I should blush. I know to be o'erheard and taken napping so.
Come, sir, you blush. As your cause is such. You chided him, offending twice as much. Oh, what, you do not love Maria? Oh, Longaville, did never sonnet for her sake compile? I have been closely shrouded in this bush and marked you both, and for you both did blush. I heard your guilty rhymes, observed your fashion, saw sighs reek from you. Noted well your passion. I me, says one. Jove, the other cries. One, her hairs were gold. crystal, the other's eyes. You would have, for paradise, broke faith and troth. And Jove for your love would infringe an oath. What will Barone say when he shall hear, oh, faith so infringed, with such zeal had been sworn? How will he scorn? How will he spend his wit? How will he triumph, leap, and laugh at it? I'm so glad he's not here.
Now step I forth to whip hypocrisy. Ah, good my liege, I pray thee pardon me. Good heart, what grace hast thou thus to reprove these worms for loving that are most in love? Your eyes do make no coaches in your tears. There is no certain princess that appears. But are you not ashamed? Nay, are you not, all three of you, to be thus much o'ershot? You found his mote, the king your mote did see, but I a beam do find in each of three. Oh, what a scene of foolery have I seen, of sighs, of groans, of sorrow and of teen. Oh me, with what strict patience have I sat to see a king transformed to a gnat, to see great Hercules whipping a gig and profound Solomon to tune a jig. Where lies thy grief? Oh, tell me, good domain, and gentle Longueville, where lies thy pain? And where my lieges, all about the breast, a caudle, ho!
Too bitter is thy jest. Are we betrayed thus to thy overview?
Not you to me, but I betrayed by you. I that am honest. I that hold it sin to break the vow I am engaged in. I am betrayed by keeping company with men like you, men of inconstancy. When shall you see me write a thing in rhyme, or groan for love, or spend a minute's time in pruning me? When shall you hear that I will raise a hand, a foot, a face, an eye, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
God bless the king.
Whoa, what present hast thou there?
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our parson misdoubts it. 'Twas treason, he said.
Barone, read it over. Where hadst thou it?
Of Costard.
Where hadst thou it?
Of Dun Adramatio. Dun Adramatio.
Whoa, how now? What is in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace needs not fear it.
It did move him to passion, and therefore, let's hear it. Come on.
Oh, this is Barone's writing, and here's his name.
Guilty, my lord, guilty. I confess, I confess.
What?
That you three fools lacked me fool to make up the mess. He and you, my liege, are pick purses in love, and we deserve to die. I'll dismiss this audience, and I shall tell you more.
And now the number is even.
True, we are four. Will these turtles be gone?
And sirs away.
Now walk aside the true folk, and let the traitors stay.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers, oh, let us embrace. As true we are as flesh and blood can bleed, the sea will ebb and flow, heaven show his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause why we were born, therefore of all hands must we be forsworn.
What, did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Did they, quoth you? Who sees the heavenly Rosaline that falls not to the base ground, struck and blind?
Oh, what zeal, what fury hath inspired thee now? My love, her mistress, is a gracious moon. She, an attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes are then no eyes, nor I Barone. Oh, but for my love, day would turn to night. Your mistresses dare never come in rain, for fear their colours should be washed away.
For good yours did, for sir, to tell you plain, I'll find a fairer face not washed today.
I'll prove her fair, or talk till doomsday here.
No devil will fright thou then as much as she.
I never knew men hold vile stuff so dear.
Oh, look, here's thy love, my foot, and her face to see.
Oh, if the streets were paved with thine eyes, her feet were much too dainty for such tread.
What of this? Are we not all in love?
Nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leave this chat, and good Barone, now prove our loving lawful, our faith not torn.
Have at you then, affections, men-at-arms. Consider what you first did swear unto, to fast, to study, and to see no woman. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. Oh, we have made a vow to study, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when would you, my lord, or you, in leaden contemplation have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors have enriched you with? Other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore, finding barren practices, scarce show a harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power above their functions and their offices. For women's eyes, this doctrine I derive. They are the books, the arts, the academes that show, contain, and nourish all the world. Then fools you were, these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn you will prove fools. Let us once lose our oaths to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths.
Saint Cupid then, and soldiers, to the field.
Advance your standards and upon them, lords.
Now to plain dealing. Lay these glosses by. Shall we resolve to woo these girls of France?
And win them too. Therefore, let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents.
First, from the park, let us conduct them thither. We will with some strange pastime solace them, for revels, dances, masks, and merry hours, for run, fair love, strewing her way with flowers.
Allons, allons, no time shall be omitted that will betime and may by us be fitted.
Allons!
Satis quod sufficit.
I praise God for you, sir. For your reasons at dinner have been pleasant, without scurrility, witty, without affection, audacious, without impudency. I did converse this quondam day with a companion of the king's who is in Titid nominated or called Don Adriano de Armado.
Novi hominem tamquam te. His humor is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filed, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, and his general behavior vain, ridiculous, and thrasonical. He's too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too peregrinate, as I may call it.
Both singular and choice epithet. Videsni quis venit?
Video et gaudeo.
Men of peace, well encountered.
Most military, sir, salutation.
They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps.
Monsieur, are you not lettered?
Yes. He teaches boys the horn book. What is A-B spelled backwards with the horns on his head?
Bah, pueritia, with a horn added.
Bah, most silly sheep with a horn. You hear his learning?
Quis, thou consonant.
The third of the 5 vowels if you repeat them, or the 5th if I.
I will repeat them. I.
The sheep. The 2 other concludes it. O-U.
Now, by the salt wave of the Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick venue of wit. Snip, snap, quick and home. It rejoiceth my intellect. True wit.
Offered by a child to an old man, which is wit old.
And I had but 1 penny in the world. Thou should have it to buy gingerbread. Hold. There's a very remuneration. I had of thy master, thou halfpenny purse of wit.
Artsmen, preambulate, we will be singled from the barbers. Do you not educate youth at the church house on the top of the mountain?
Or Mons, the hill.
Of your sweet pleasure for the mountain.
I do, sans question.
Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of this day, which the rude multitude call the afternoon.
The posterior of the day, most generous, sir, is liable congruent and measurable for the afternoon. The word is well culled, chose, sweet, and apt. I do assure you, sir. I do assure.
Sir, the king is a noble gentleman, and my familiar, I do assure ye, very good friend. For what is inward between us, let it pass. By the world I recount no fable, some certain special honors that pleaseth his greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel, that hath seen the world. But let that pass. Yet I must tell thee, it will please his grace by the world sometimes to lean upon my poor shoulder, and with his royal finger thus dally with my excrement, with my mustachio. But sweetheart, let it pass. The very all of all is that the king would have me present the princess with some delightful ostentation or show or a pageant. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good at such eruptions and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you withal to the end to crave your assistance.
Sir, as concerning some entertainment of time, some show in the posterior of the day, to be rendered by our assistants and this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman before the princess, I say not so fit as to present the 9 worthies.
Where will you find men worthy enough to present them?
Joshua, yourself, myself, and this gallant gentleman, Judas
Yes!
Maccabeus. This swain, because of his great limb or joint, shall pass Pompey the Great. The page, Hercules.
Pardon, sir, ever. He is not quantity enough for that worthy stomach.
Shall I have audience? He shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake, and I will have an apology for that purpose.
An excellent device. So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, "Well done, Hercules! Now thou crushest the snake."
For the rest of the worthies,
I will play 3 myself.
Right, worthy gentlemen.
shall tell you a thing.
We attend.
We will have, if this fetch not, an antique. I beseech you, follow.
Via, good Mandel, thou hast spoken no word all this while.
Yeah, nor understood none neither, sir.
Most dull, honest dull. To our sport, away!
Oh, sweethearts, we shall be rich ere we depart if fairings come thus plentifully in. Look you what I have from the loving king.
Madam, came nothing else along with that?
No, nothing but this. Yes, as much love in rhyme as can be crammed up in a sheet of paper with both sides, in the leaf and the margin and all, and that he was fain to seal on Cupid's name. But Rosaline, you have a favor too. Who sent it and what is it?
I would you knew. Nay, I have verses too. I thank Barone. I were the fairest goddess on the ground. I am compared to 20,000 fairs. Oh, he hath drawn my picture in his letter.
Oh, anything like?
Much in the letters, nothing in the praise.
Catherine, what was sent to you from Dumaine?
Madam, this glove?
Did he not send you twain?
Oh, yes, madam. And moreover, some thousand verses of a faithful lover, a huge translation of hypocrisy barely compiled, profound simplicity.
This and these pearls to me sent Longaville. The letter is too long by half a mile.
I think no less. Dost thou not wish in heart the chain were longer and the letter short?
Aye, or I would these hands might never part.
We are wise girls to mock our lovers so.
They are worse fools to purchase mocking so. That same Barone I'll torture ere I go. Oh, that I knew he were but in by the week. how I would make him fawn and beg and seek, and wait the season and observe the times, and spend his prodigal wits in bruteless rhymes, and shape his service wholly to my hest, and make him proud to make me proud that jests. So, pair taunt-like, would I o'ersway his state, that he should be my fool, and I his fate.
Oh, here comes Boyette, and mirth is in his face.
Oh, I am stabbed with laughter. Where's her grace?
Well, thy news, Boyette!
Oh, prepare, madam, prepare. Arm, wenches, arm. Encounters mounted are against your peace. Love doth approach disguised. Armed in arguments, you'll be surprised.
St. Dennis to St. Cupid, what are they that charge their breath against us? Say, scout, say.
Under a cool shade of a sycamore, I thought to close mine eyes some half an hour, when lo, to interrupt my purpose rest, toward that shade I might behold addressed the king and his companions. Warily I stole into a neighbour thicket by, and overheard what you shall overhear, that by and by, disguised they will be. Their herald is a pretty knavish page, that well by heart hath conned his embassage. Accent and accent did they teach him there, that thus must thou speak, and thus thy body bear.
Well, they come they to visit us.
They do, and are apparelled thus, like Muscovites, or Russians, as I guess. Their purpose is to parley, to court and dance, and everyone his love feet will advance unto his several mistress, which they'll know by favours several which they did bestow.
And will they so? The gallants shall be tasked, for ladies, we shall every one be masked. And not a man of them shall have the grace, despite of suit, to see a lady's face. Hold, Rosaline, this favor thou shalt wear, and then the king will court thee for his dear. Hold, take thou this, my sweet, and then give me thine. Okay, so shall Baron take me for Rosaline. Oh, and change your favors too. So shall your loves woo contrary, deceived by these removes.
Oh, come on then, where the favors most in sight?
But in changing, what is your intent?
The effect of my intent is to cross theirs. They do it but in mocking merriment, and mock for mock is only my intent. There's several counsels they unbosom shall to love's mistook, and so be mocked withal.
But shall we dance if they desire to?
No, to the death! We will not move a foot, nor to their pen's speech render we no grace, but while 'tis spoke, each turn away thy face.
Why, that contempt will kill the speaker's heart, and quite divorce his memory from his part.
Therefore I do it, and I make no doubt the rest will ne'er come in if he be out. There is no such sport as sport by sport o'erthrown, to make theirs ours and ours none but our own. So shall we stay, mocking intended game, and they, well mocked, depart away with shame.
Be masked, the maskers come.
All hail the richest beauties on the earth.
Beauty's no richer than rich taffeta.
A holy parcel of the fairest dames that ever turn their backs to mortal views.
Aye, villain, their eyes.
Oh, that ever turn their eyes to mortal views. Out of your favors, heavenly spirits, vouchsafe not to behold.
Once to behold, you rogue.
Once to behold with your sunbeamed eyes. With your sunbeamed eyes?
They will not answer to that epithet. You are best to call them daughter-beamed eyes.
They do not mark me, and that brings me out.
Is this your perfectness? Begone, you rogue.
What would these strangers know their minds, Boyat? If they do speak our language, 'tis our will that some plain man recount their purposes.
What would you with the princess?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
What would they say?
Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
Why, that they have, and bid them so be gone.
She says you have it and may be gone.
Say to her, we have measured many miles to trade a measure with her on this grass.
Oh, they say they have measured many a mile to tread a measure with you on this grass.
Tis not so. Ask them how many inches is in 1 mile. If they have measured many, the measure then of one is easily told.
Tell her we measure them by weary steps.
She hears herself.
How many weary steps are numbered in the travel of 1 mile?
We number nothing that we spend for you. Our duty is so rich, so infinite.
Pay music then. Nay, you must do it soon. Not yet, no dance. Thus change I like the moon. Since you are strangers, we will part as friends. Footsie, sweethearts, and so the measure ends.
Oh, more measure of this measure. Be not nice.
We can afford no more at such a price.
Price you yourselves. What buys your company?
Your absence only.
Ah, that can never be.
Then cannot we be bought, and so adieu. Twice to your visor, and half once to you.
If you deny to dance, let's hold more chat.
In private, then.
Ah, I am best pleased with that.
White-handed mistress, one sweet word with thee.
Honey, milk and sugar, there is 3.
Then half a dozen sweets.
7th sweet adieu. Since you can cog, I'll play no more with you.
But one word in secret.
Let it not be sweet.
Thou grievest my gall.
Gall, bitter.
Therefore meat.
Will you vouchsafe with me to change a word?
Name it.
Fair lady.
May you so? Fair lord, take that for your fair lady.
Please it you as much in private, and I'll bid adieu.
Sure.
What? Was your vizard made without a tongue?
I know the reason, lady, why you ask.
Oh, for your reason quickly, sir, I long.
You have a double tongue within your mask, and would a speechless half.
Veal, quoth the Dutchman, is not veal a calf?
I feel you give heart, this lady, do not so.
Then die a calf before your horns do grow.
One word in private with you ere I die.
Softly then, the butcher hears you cry.
The tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as is the razor's edge invisible, cutting a smaller hair than may be seen, above the sense of sense. So sensible seemeth their conference. Their conceits have wings fleeter than arrows, bullets, wind, thought, swifter things.
Not one word more. My maid, break off, break off.
By heaven, all dry breathing with pure scoff.
Farewell, mad wenches. You have simple wits.
20 dues, my frozen Muscovites. Oh, are these the breed of wits so wondered at?
Oh, tapers they are, with your sweet breaths puffed out.
Will they not think you hang themselves tonight? This pert Barone was out of countenance quite.
Oh, they were all in lamentable cases. The king was weeping ripe for a good word.
Barone did swear himself all out of suit.
Dumaine was at my service, and his sword. I said, no point, quoth I. My servant's rate was mute.
Lord Longaville said, I came over his heart.
Will you hear? The king is my love sworn.
And quick, Barone, to me.
And Longaville was for my service born.
Dumaine is mine, as sure as bark on tree.
Madam and pretty mistresses, give ear. Immediately they will again be here in their own shapes, for it can never be they will digest this harsh indignity.
Will they return?
They will, God knows, and leap for joy, though they are lame with blows. Therefore, change favours, and when they repair, blow like sweet roses in the summer air.
Fond perplexity of what shall we do if they return in their own shapes to woo?
Oh, good madam, if by me you'll be advised, let's mock them still, as well known as disguised. Let us complain to them what fools we're here, disguised like Muscovites in shapeless gear, and wonder what they were and to what end their shallow shows and prologue vilely penned, and their rough carriage so ridiculous should be presented at our tent to us.
Ladies, withdraw, the gallants are at hand.
To our tents as roes run o'er the land.
Faith, sir, God save you. Where's the princess?
Oh, gone to her tent. Please that your majesty command me any service to her thither.
Did she vouchsafe me audience for one word?
I will, and so will she, I know, my lord.
This fellow pecks up wit as pigeons peas, and utters it again when God doth please. And we that sell by gross, the Lord doth know, have not the grace to grace it with such show.
Blister on his sweet tongue with my heart, that put Armado's page out of his part. All hail, sweet madam, and fair time of the day.
There, in all hail is foul, as I conceive.
Construe my speech as better, if you may.
Wish me better. I'll give you leave.
Well, we came to visit you, and purpose now to lead you into the court? Vouchsafe it then?
This field shall hold me, and so hold your vow, nor God nor I delights in perjured men.
Rebuke me not for that which you provoke. The virtue of your eye must break my oath.
You nickname virtue. Vice you should have spoke, for virtue's office never breaks men's troth. Now by my maiden honor yet, as pure as the unsullied lily, I protest, a world of torments though I should endure, I would not yield to be your house's guest. So much I hate a breaking cause to be of heavenly oaths, vowed with integrity.
Oh, you have lived in desolation here, unseen, unvisited, much to our shame.
Oh, my lord, no, it is not so, I swear. We have had pastimes here and pleasant game. A mess of Russians left us but of late.
Oh, how, madam? Russians!
My lord, trim gallants full of courtship and of state.
Madam, speak true. It is not so, my lord. We four indeed confronted were with four in Russian habit. Here they stayed an hour and talked apace. And in that hour, my lord, they did not bless us with one happy word. I dare not call them fools, but this I think, when they are thirsty, fools would fain have drink.
This jest is dry to me, fair, gentle, sweet. Your wit makes wise things foolish, rich things but poor.
Well, this proves you wise and rich. In my eye,
I am a fool and full of poverty.
But that you take what doth to you belong, it were a fault to snap words from my tongue.
Oh, I am yours and all that I possess.
All the fool mine?
I cannot give you less.
Which of the vizards was it that you wore?
Where? When? What vizard? Why demand you this?
There, then, that vizard, that superfluous case that hid the worse and showed the better face.
We are descried. Now they'll mock us downright.
Let us confess and turn it to a jest.
Amazed, my lord? Why looks your highness sad?
Must pour down stars and plagues for perjury. How can any face of brass hold no longer out? Here stand I, lady, dart thy skill at me. Bruise me with scorn, confound me with a flout. Oh, never will I trust a speech is penned, nor to the motion of a schoolboy's tongue, nor never come in vizard to my friend, nor woo in rhyme like a blind harper's song. I do forswear them, and here I protest, henceforth my wooing mind I shall express. And to begin, wench, so God help me, la, my love to thee is sound, sans crack or flaw.
Sans, I pray you.
Yet I have a trick of the old rage. Bear with me, I am sick. I will leave it by degrees. Soft, let us see. Right, Lord, have mercy on those three. They are infected. In their hearts it lies. They have the plague uncourted of your eyes. These lords are visited. You are not free, for the Lord's tokens on you do I see.
No, they are free that gave these tokens to us.
Our states are forfeit. Seek not to undo us.
It is not so. How can this be true, that you stand forfeit, being those that sue?
Peace, for I will not have to do with you.
Nor shall not, if I do as I intend.
Speak for yourselves, my wit is at an end.
Teach us, sweet madam, for our rude transgression some fair excuse.
The fairest is confession. Were not you here, but even now disguised?
I was.
And were you well advised?
I was, fair madam.
When you then were here, what did you whisper in your lady's ear?
That more than all the world I did respect her.
When she shall challenge this, you will reject her.
Upon mine honor, no.
Peace, forbear. Your oath once broke, you force not to forswear.
Despise me when I break this oath of mine.
I will, and therefore keep it. Rosaline, what did the Russian whisper in your ear?
Madam, he swore that he did hold me dear, as precious eyesight, and did value me above the world, adding thereto moreover, that he would wed me, or else die my lover.
Oh, God give thee joy of him! This noble lord most honorably doth unhold his word.
What mean you, madam? By my life, my troth, I never swore this lady such an oath.
By heaven you did, and to confirm it plain, you gave me this, sir. But take it, sir, again.
My faith, and this, to the princess did I give. I knew her by this jewel in her hair.
Pardon me, sir, this jewel she did wear. And Lord Baron, I thank him. He is my dear. What, will you have me or your pearl again?
Neither of either, I remit both twain. I see the trick on't. Here was a consent, knowing aforehand of our merriment, to make my lady laugh when she's disposed, told our intents before, which once disclosed, the ladies did change favours, and then we, following the signs, wooed but the sign of she. Now, to our perjury, to add more terror, we are again forsworn in will and error. Much upon this it is. Peace, I have done. Welcome, pure wits, thou partest a fair fray.
Lord, sir, they would know whether the three worthies shall come in or no.
What, are there but three?
No, sir, but is verifying for every one presents 3.
And 3 times thrice is 9.
Is that one of the worthies?
It has pleased them to think me worthy of Pompeian the Great. For my own part, I know not the degree of the worthy, but I am to stand for him.
Go bid them prepare.
We will turn it finely off, sir. We will take some care.
Baron, they will shame us. Let them not approach.
We are shame-proof, my lord, and 'tis some policy to have one show worse than the king's and his company.
I say they shall not come.
My good lord, let me o'errule you now. The sport best pleases that doth least know how. Their form confounded makes most form in mirth, when great things laboring perish in their birth.
A right description of our sport, my lord.
Anointed, I implore so much expense of thy royal sweet breath as will utter a brace of words.
Does man serve God?
Why ask you?
He speaks not like a man of God's making.
That is all one, my fair sweet honey monarch, for I protest the schoolmaster is exceeding fantastical, too vain, too vain. But we will put it, as they say, to fortuna de la guerra. I wish you the peace of mind, most royal compliment.
Oh, here's like to be a goodly presence of worthies. So he presents Hector of Troy, the swain Costard, Pompey the Great, the parish curate, Alexander, Armado's page, Hercules, and the pedant is Judas Maccabeus. And if these 4 worthies in their first show thrive, then these 4 will change their habits and present the other 5.
I, Pompey, am.
Levi, you are not he.
Well said, old mocker. I must needs be friends with thee.
I, Pompey, am. Pompey, surnamed the Big.
The Great.
Oh, it is. Great, Sir Pompey, surnamed the Great, that often feed with targe and cheer did make a my foe to sweat. And traveling along this coast, I here am come by chance, and lay my arms before the legs of this sweet lass of France. If your ladyship would say, thanks, Pompey, I had done.
Great, thanks. Great, Pompey.
Oh, it is not so much worth, but I hope it was perfect. I made a little fault in great there.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander. By east, by west, by north, by south. I am the great Lysander.
Your nose says no, you are not, for it stands to right.
Yeah, sorry. That's
Conqueror is dismayed. Proceed, good, Alexander.
when in the world I lived, I was the great Lysander.
Most true, 'tis right. You were so, Alexander.
Alexander.
Yep. Take away the conqueror. Take away Alexander.
Oh, sir, you have overthrown Alexander the Conqueror, a conqueror and feared to speak. Run away! For shame, Alexander! He is a marvelous good neighbor, Faith, and a very good bowler. But for Alexander, alas, you see, now it is a little o'er-parted.
Great Hercules is presented by this imp, whose club killed Cerberus, the three-headed Canis, and when he was a babe, a child, a shrimp. Thus did he strangle serpents in his manus. Quoniam he seemeth in minority, ergo I come with this apology. Keep some state in thy exit and vanish. Judas I am.
Judas!
Not Iscariot, sir. Judas I am, eclipsed Maccabeus.
Judas Maccabeus clipped is plain Judas.
A kissing traitor. How art thou proved, Judas?
Judas I am.
The more shame for you, Judas.
What mean you, sir?
To make Judas hang himself.
Begin, sir. You are my elder.
Well followed. Judas was hanged on an elder.
I will not be put out of countenance.
Because thou hast no face. Because thou hast no face.
What is this? What is this? What is this?
It's a sitting head.
A death's face in a ring.
Ooh, the face of an old Roman coin. Scarce seen.
Oh, the carved bone face on a flask.
And now forward, for we have put thee in countenance.
You have put me out of countenance.
False, we have given thee faces.
Yeah, but you have outfaced them all.
Ah, and thou wert a lion, we would do so.
Therefore, as he is an ass, let him go. And so, adieu, sweet Jude. Nay, why dost thou stay?
Oh, for the latter end of his name.
Oh, for the ass to the Jude. Give it him. Jude ass, away.
This is not generous, not gentle, not humble.
Alas, poor Maccabeus, how he hath been baited.
But is this Hector?
Oh, his leg is too big for Hector's.
More calf, certain.
This cannot be Hector.
Peace! The armipotent Mars of Laces the Almighty gave Hector a gift, the heir of Ilion, a man so breathed that certain he would fight, yea, from morn till night, out of his pavilion. I am that flower.
That mint.
That Columbine.
Sweet Lord, Longueville, rain thy tongue, sweet royalty bestow on me the sense of hearing.
Speak, brave Hector. We are much delighted.
I adore thy sweet grace's slipper.
Loves her by the foot.
Oh, he may not by the yard.
This Hector far surmounted Hannibal. The party is gone.
Fellow Hector, she is gone. She is 2 months on her way.
What meanest thou?
Faith, the poor wench is cast away. She's quick. The child brags in her belly already. 'Tis yours.
Dost thou infeminize me among potentates? Thou shalt die.
Then shall Hector be whipped for Jaquinetta that is quick by him, and hanged for Pompey that is dead by him.
Most rare Pompey.
Renowned Pompey!
By the North Pole, I do challenge thee.
I will not fight with a pole like a northern man. I'll slash it in my shirt.
But room for the insensate worthies.
What mean you? You will lose your reputation.
Gentlemen and soldiers, pardon me, I will not combat in my shirt.
You may not deny it. Pompey hath made the challenge.
Sweet bloods, I both may and will.
What reason have you for it?
The naked truth of it is, I have no shirt. I go woolward for penance.
True, and I'll be sworn he wears none but a dishcloth of Jaquinetta's, and that he wears next to his heart for a favour.
God save you, madam.
Welcome, good Mercade. That interrupts our merriment.
I am sorry, madam, for the news I bring is heavy on my tongue. The king, your father.
My life.
Even so, my tale is told.
Worthies, away, the scene begins to cloud.
I have seen the day of wrong through the tidal hole of discretion, and I will right myself like a soldier.
How fares your majesty?
Boyet, prepare. I will away tonight.
Madam, not so. I do beseech you, stay.
Prepare, I say. I thank you, gracious lords, for all your fair endeavors, and entreat out of a new sad soul that you vouchsafe in your rich wisdom to excuse or hide the liberal opposition of our spirits. If overboldly we have borne ourselves in the converse of breath, your gentleness was guilty of it. Farewell, my lord. Heavy heart fits not a nimble tongue.
The extreme parts of time extremely forms all causes to the purpose of his speed. And though the morning brow of progeny forbid the smiling courtesy of love, yet since love's argument was first on foot, let not the cloud of sorrow justle it from what it purposed, since to wail friends lost is not by much so wholesome profitable as to rejoice at friends but newly found.
I understand you not. My griefs are double.
Honest, plain words best pierce the ear of grief. And by these badges understand the king. For your fair sakes we have neglected time, played foul with our oaths. Your beauty, ladies, hath much deformed us, fashioning our humours even to the opposed end of our intents. Our love being yours, the error that love's makes is likewise yours. We to ourselves prove false by being once false, for ever to be true to those that make us both. Fair ladies, you.
We have received your letters, full of love, your favors, the ambassadors of love, and in our maiden council rated them at courtship, pleasant jest and courtesy, as bombast and as lining to the time. But more devout than this in our respects have we not been, and therefore met your loves in their own fashion, like a merriment.
Our letters, madam, showed much more than jest.
So did our looks.
We did not quote them so.
Then now, at the latest minute of the hour, grant us your love.
Time, methinks, too short to make a world without end bargain in. No, my lord. Your grace is perjured much, full of dear guiltiness, and therefore this, if for my love, as there is such a cause you will do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage, remote from all the pleasures of the world, and there stay until 12 celestial signs have brought about the annual reckoning. If this austere, insociable life changed not your offer made in heat of blood, then at the expiration of the year, come challenge me by these deserts, and I'll be thine. Until that instant, shut my woeful self up in a mourning house, raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death.
If this, or more than this, I would deny, to flatter up these powers of mine with rest, the sudden hand of death close up mine eye. Hence, hermit, then, my heart is in thy breast.
But what to me, my love? But what to me? Shall I say, I thank you, gentle wife?
Not so, my lord. A 12-month and a day, I'll mark no words that smooth-faced wooers say. Come when the king doth to my lady come. Then if I have much love, I'll give you some.
What says Maria?
At the 12 months' end, I'll change my black gown for a faithful friend.
I'll stay with patience, but the time is long.
Like are you. Few taller are so young.
Studies, my lady. Mistress, look on me. Behold the window of my heart, mine eye. What humble suit attends thy answer there? Impose some service on me for thy love.
Oft have I heard of you, my Lord Barone, before I saw you, and the world's large tongue proclaims you for a man replete with mocks, full of comparisons and wounding flouts, which you in all estates will execute that lie within the mercy of your wit. To weed this wormwood from your fruitful brain, and therewithal to win me, if you please, without the which I am not to be won. You shall, this 12-month term from day to day, visit the speechless sick and still converse with groaning wretches. And your task shall be, with all the fierce endeavour of your wit, to enforce the pained impotent to smile.
To move wild laughter in the throat of death, it cannot be, it is impossible. Mirth cannot move a soul in agony.
A jest prosperity lies in the ear of him that hears it, never in the tongue of him that makes it.
A 12-month! Well, befall what will befall. I'll jest a 12-month in a hospital.
Aye, my sweet lord, and so I take my leave.
No, madam, we'll bring you on your way.
Sweet Majesty, vouchsafe me.
Was not that Hector?
The worthy knight of Troy.
I will kiss thy royal finger and take leave. I have vowed to Jaquineta to hold the plough for her sweet love 3 years, but most esteemed greatness, will you hear the dialogue that the two learned men have compiled in praise of the owl and the cuckoo? It should have followed in the end of our show.
Words of Mercury are harsh after the songs of Apollo. You that way? Me this way.
Our wooing does not end like an old play. Jack hath not Jill. These ladies' courtesy might well have made our sport a comedy.
Come, sir, it wants a 12-month and a day, and then 'twill end.
That's too long for a play.
Nice. Thank you everyone so much for joining us. And as the folks come in through their little screens, I want to thank each of you as well for your time and your commitment and your play. Yeah, that little shimmy is exactly how I'm feeling, Ella. Well done. Well done. So yeah, for you guys who are joining us for the first time, we're doing a little Q&A session. We like to ask the cast, and in addition, we like to ask those of you watching the same questions. The cast are going to answer the questions here. And if you guys want to chime in through the YouTube chat, any answers to the questions that we ask, you're welcome to. So with that in mind, the first question is, what did you learn about this play that you did not know before? And whenever you're ready, chime in.
I never noticed before that every time there's about to be sort of a big explosion of anger or a fight, just immediately something comes in to undercut it or to top it in some form. So even the idea that the play comes in at just a moment where all these people could potentially fall out with each other, but then they offer a play that to watch and to somehow bring themselves back together on the outside of it. I'd never sort of noticed that, the way that play could be a device to actually bring people together again.
Yeah, it's a really interesting, yeah, device is exactly the right word. That's a really interesting point in this play. Who's next up to add to what you learned?
I found so much joy in being with my girlfriends in a way that I feel like I know that there are probably other plays, but I should be able to think of them, but I can't off the top of my head. But this really struck a chord to have the women like banded together, having a good time, living life and playing. I was really grateful for that. It stood out today.
I'd never noticed how this play is a cross between Midsummer Night's Dream and Much Ado About Nothing.
Nicely done. Cool. Yeah, Harry.
I was going to say, on Chrissy's note, I've seen productions of this and been in productions of this before where it's really clear that the boys are goofy and having tons of fun. And sometimes it feels like the women in this play are sometimes played like they're not doing the same thing, but it's exactly the same. You know, they're being goofy too and having just as much fun. I think that was really fun to be in their team tonight to see that.
I learned that not all the comedies get wrapped up neat and tidy. It always seems I learned everything about the play because I knew nothing about the play. But I would have thought it was like, oh, and then everything's just gonna like mashed up and resolved, and then that not only does that not happen, but they're like, let's press pause for a year, and that's wild. We know so much can happen in a year, so much can happen in a shorter time. So I will reconsider the way I talk about how all the comedies end.
Yeah.
May I pick one more thing? Just off of what Harry said, it is a good show, and I'd love to reframe it in that way, that the idea of the team and having that team of humans was very important. And thank you for that. Yeah.
Anyone else before we move on to question number 2?
I mean, it feels
We
like
do have some thoughts on the YouTube. Oh, go ahead, Drew.
Whoa, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say it feels like Barome should come back on in like Ferris Bueller's like bathtub and be like, you're still here? Like, go.
And with that, I'm gonna pass the mic over to the lovely Ella, who's handling the YouTube comments. Thank you so much for that, Ella.
Yeah, no problem. Something really fun, really early on, a lot of people were like imagining what kind of mashup this show is. So like Joe Quinn said, this is Much Ado Part 1. Amber said that she once described this as the Hamilton of Shakespeare. I'm sorry, I wrote your name down strangely, but someone else said that there's a lot of inspiration for Dr. Seuss in this play. As far as things that jumped out in this show, we've got Dylan playing the air violin, big LOL. This go round, I noticed how eloquent and intelligent Barone is and the sincerity of his recognition of his own failings. Very interesting. The only JS says, I miss Alex, but I still had a good time. We all miss Alex when he's not here. Joe also says, the women are so strong and self-possessed in this play. And the Russian dancing was excellent, says Christine.
All right. Thank you so much, Ella. And thanks for everyone for the comments. All right, moving in to number 2. The question, number 2, which I am right now grasping to remember, is what word or phrase stuck out to you? See, patience begets knowledge. What word or phrase stuck out to you today? Or image, even image. I think like some little shoulder angel Monty. So yeah, Harry.
It always sticks out to me, but I love when love speaks. The voice of all the gods makes heaven drowsy with the harmony.
That's beautiful, especially coming from your voice, Harry. That's gorgeous. Anyone else who wants to chime in?
The words of Mercury are harsh after the songs of Apollo.
Yeah.
Velvet leaves, which is an interesting, as leaves fall, are they really soft?
Fantastic question for a botanist. We're going to get right to the bottom of that, Drew.
Thank you. Yeah, that's just what I need.
Dylan, I got one more.
Yes, please.
The rosé commercial. That is Dan's skivvy dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
it was something else.
Shout was yours, so credit where credit is due, but good God.
Yeah, as Dan was giving one of the greatest shows I've seen online through Zoom, I noticed CP was just like pouring it up, and it was just it was doing everything for me.
Can we also discuss all of Deb's food choices? I wasn't sure if I was hungry or thirsty throughout her appearances. I just didn't know what to do with myself.
I was just scared.
Because she's a strong woman.
Okay, Rosaline. Okay, Tosh. Yeah, fear is a great inspirer. If no one has anything else, or Dan, you got something? Yeah.
Yeah, Lynn. The line, "That's too long for a play." What it means? Just simply as, just in terms of like, a play has a certain amount of time that it's allowed. There's something in like, if you like really sit with that line for a minute and go like, well, what the fuck does that mean?
Sure.
That's too long for a play. Like, I was very troubled by that, honestly, in this current moment, in terms of figuring out.
Yeah, and why it came at the end of the play instead of the start of the play. I think it could have been prognostic instead of diagnostic. So good job, Shakespeare. Ella, are we ready to move on to some YouTube stuff if you got any?
Yeah, I got some.
Right.
So Sherry says that Christine's, or the princess / queen of France, is too short a time to make a bargain without end. Am I butchering that? It's something like that. I just put the script down. Oh, I'm back. Yes, that one jumped out, which then Simon said that was a nice contrast with some of Juliet's speeches about making decisions quickly or not so quickly. What else? The comparison of love to an infection and a plague sounded harsh today, said Kristen. Joe Quinn says, the tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as is the razor's edge invisible. Yeah, good quote.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, listeners, for listening so well. That's really great. And now moving on to the third and the final question. Why does this play matter today, or why does this play not matter today to you? And I'll pass it to the cast first, and then we can hear from the YouTube later.
What was?
I think. Oh, go.
What what was sticking out to me today was to sort of piggyback on what has already been said about the boys having so much fun together and the girls having so much fun together. And of course, the situation that we're finding ourselves in right now, where there's this forced separation because of COVID, and I was feeling like I really want to be with my group and have fun, and that sort of also put a note on the end where they talk about, well, I'll see you in a year.
I'm gonna cry. Aw.
Tom.
I think there's always something huge to be learned from Don Armado, with the fact that he's one of the only characters who does everything out of pure love. He releases Costard so that he can get with Jacquinetta because he's in love with Jacquinetta. He starts this play with these two strange intellectuals, which gives them a way to express themselves in a completely different way and gives them a sort of new lease of life. And that play in turn manages to do something to help bring the lovers to a point where they can go off and grow for a year and they can find something. But it's all coming from love. And there's something about doing something in the positive and doing something from a positive place that the outcomes can be better and they can spread.
That's very well said. Thanks, Tom. Would anyone else like to chime in before we move to the chat? Yeah, Dan.
Yeah, I think what makes this play really vulnerable and important is that people in the play think they understand time, and they think they have control of it. And I think that there are a lot of us who think we do the same. And like, if I've learned anything from the last 4 months, is like I want to control time, and I have no fucking say in it. And I think that's a lesson of I think it's part of the lesson of this play.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, thank you for that. I think we've all sort of seen time in a different perspective over the past 6 months. A minute can feel like a year, and 2 months can feel like nothing. It's interesting and different for each and every individual. So that sort of reframing of this construct of time is something that we're all sort of going through right now. And that's very well said, Dan. Thanks. Chrissy, did you want to add something before we jumped into the YouTube chat?
I was just thinking about how time is short. Like Dan got there, and I was thinking about just a quick shout out to Jimmy coming in for like 2 lines, and thinking about how that makes me think about how every essence that you interact with in the world can have such an important presence in your life, and to really honor that.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I learned something new about the play from Tom talking about Don Armando, which I had never thought of before. So there. Ha. Thanks.
Well, maybe
Chris.
that's why the play is important. We're learning from each other through our own lens, and that's
very
great.
true.
I also think this play is just beautiful, and although it has a sad ending, it's optimistic and funny. And I think that a lot of other plays are very important, but there's maybe more bitingly relevant things to be putting on, but sometimes it's just really important actually to put on theatre that makes people happy or, you know, joyful?
To bounce right off of that, I think because the ending, a very sad event happens, but through that sad event, through taking even before the pause happens, there's a self-reflection that happens for all these people. Like this tragedy has meaningful shifting in individuals' lives and in interpersonal dynamics, and I think that is both why it has resonated for me in the past and really resonates right now. That not running from that, but engaging with it, allows for the potential for real love.
And there's that real, you used the word, Harry, of is it optimistic, or the fact that you can see these young people shedding off those kind of affectations of youth and of everything that they've been pretending to be up until now, especially with the boys, but I think the women too, of that, like you said, that huge event. But what comes from that is incredibly positive and optimistic, that they grow up, they've learned something whilst having a sort of mad, insane amount of fun, which, like you said, Harry, is important at any time of life.
That's a great point to round out on. Yeah, what grows us up? For some, it's time. For some, it's drastic events, and for others, it's something we can never conceive. But we can all hope to like grow up and meet each other at those sort of greater versions of ourselves. So with that, I'd like to pass it on to Ella.
Yeah, and I would also offer that love makes us grow up sometimes.
Damn right.
Going back real quick to text that stood out, Doug offers, they have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps. That's a great one. Joe Quinn offers, for the meaning of the play today, the game of love can be a source of great fun, but in the face of more serious matters, love must put on a more serious and perhaps more truthful face. And sort of similar and playing between like serious and fun, Bruce says, I just needed a good laugh today and you brought that to me. So thank you all. Peace sign, heart, theater mask, sunglass mask emojis, champagne flute emojis. And also Christine says, sometimes you just want to hear 90 minutes worth of double and single entendres. Not so deep, but true for me today.
Wow, thank you so much for everyone in the chat. That was really good. I think now is a moment where we would sort of field any questions that might have come up in the chat. If any popped out to you, Ella, feel free to share those and we can address them.
Let me see where this one is. Someone asked, here we go. Amber asked, did Much Ado affect some of your choices in this play, especially with casting?
Getting head shakes, but yeah, CP, Monty, Dan, I seems maybe no, for casting at least.
Not for me.
No.
Although, can I'll piggyback off of that question and ask Tom, like how it was to play both and what the big difference is for you between those characters.
The big difference, it was great to play both. What's interesting is you feel like Barone, I preferred playing Barone than playing Benedict.
Why?
Because I feel like you get much more of a sense that Barone's really trying to understand this change of him falling in love, and is actually trying to get to grips with it. He's trying to intellectualize it, I guess, in some form as well. Whereas Benedict just sort of realizes it, makes a bit of a joke about it, but then goes with it. And he goes with it full-heartedly, which I think is beautiful. But there's just something about the way Barone is trying to unpick it and trying to understand it. I just really enjoy. And yeah, he's funny. It's one of the favorite parts I played, certainly doing this, but if not ever, I think it's great.
Yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
I would say bouncing between Hero and Catherine, bouncing between like two young women in love like, I do wonder what Hero might have been like had her father not been right there and sort of been an influence, because she had Beatrice right there to like be an equal influence in the same way I think the princess was here in this play to be like, okay, hold on, we can have some fun first. Don't like get into this too fast.
You're so right. But this is like welcome week at college. Is this play?
And they're
Like in terms of the other
ongoing.
like romantic comedies. That's
Right.
brilliant.
If this is welcome week, then the princess is like the RA who's like, okay, Frenchie.
Oh no, she's gonna narc on you if you're like caught smoking on your balcony. Oh shit.
She's like the cool RA.
Party with you.
Oh, it's the cool. Okay, yeah. No, I had one of those.
He's gonna
They were great.
party with you and be like, I didn't see that.
She'll threaten to narc you, but if you don't freak out, then she'll give you shrooms.
And then she'll tell you, I know where you can get better.
I went to the wrong
Better
college,
stuff. Yeah.
damn.
So
What
we
schools
did
did
NYU
y'all
over there,
go to?
Monty. That's NYU.
We did have one more question, but it's I think it's one that's a little bit meatier. So maybe this is one that we're going to get into the pub. But Anne Kammerer asks, could this be a 17th century Me Too play? And I'm really curious about what people think about that, with how you all sort of ascribe meaning to the Me Too movement and what all that means to you. And I bet that's going to be a juicy convo.
That's a lot to unpack, yeah. And what better to unpack that about than over some drinks in the pub? Cue Drew with the backdrop. Oh, the timing is
Can we
so
do
good.
a little like
beforehand-
escape into it right now, or no?
1 second. Before we do anything, I want to just highlight that we have 4 more of these. 4 more of these play, and that is it. That is a wrap of the canon. I just want to put that that ticking clock on everyone's minds. So if you have any friends who haven't checked it out yet, like they don't have much more time to do it. So please join us. Additionally, I think below in the YouTube, there might be a little link to the Patreon. So feel free to offer what you can if you can. And if you cannot, then your presence is more than appreciated, and we could not be here without you. But yeah, so could we just get a reminder of the prompt before we go into the pub, and we can come in all brains firing?
Yeah. Would we consider this this play a 17th century Me Too play?
All right. Think on it.
I'm
We'll see
gonna-
you in the pub. And if you can't make it to the pub, then think on it and discuss with your friends and family.
I'm gonna play us out with some Ferris Bueller.
I don't agree with that, but he's going to do it anyway. Thank you guys so much. And we will see you on Monday for another Shakespeare
Friday.
play.
Or even on Friday if you want to.
Oh, no.
Two gents, isn't it? Two gents? No, it's not. It's not.
Got him. Friday, Comedy Evers.
Friday, Comedy of Errors.
See what we did there, YouTube?
You're playing
Amazing.
Antipolis, bro. Come on, man.
That was just a preview. This was the teaser trailer.
All right, guys. Thank you so much and have a great night. Bye.